I'm Michael Rubenstein, Sony Artisan of Imagery. Today I'm going to talk about my camera and lens choices. Currently I use the A7R2 and the A7S2 almost exclusively. I have an RX1R2 that I bring around with me pretty much everywhere I go, and I love it. And then occasionally I'll supplement in an RX100 IV and 6300. My favorite lens is and always will be the 35-1.4. Hands down, favorite lens. It's always been the lens I go to for everything. You know, starting out as a photojournalist, it was my go-to for just about every assignment I had. It's a very versatile lens. You can shoot a wide portrait with it. You can shoot a landscape. You can shoot anything with that lens. It's just great. Shallow depth of field. It looks beautiful. You know, you can stop it down and get everything in focus. It's my favorite. I also really love the 85-1.4 that just came out, the G Master lens. It's a beautiful portrait lens. And if I have to use a zoom, if I want to carry less equipment with me, I'll bring the 24-70. One of my favorite things about the Sony cameras is that I can adapt any lens from any manufacturer to use with my Sony cameras, right? So I can use compact primes from Zeiss when I'm filmmaking. I can use old Canon or Nikon lenses that have a specific look that I'm going for. It can be anything. It can be, it basically turns the A7S2 or A7R2 into a brain that you're attaching any kind of lens to, as opposed to a lockdown camera system where you can only use the lenses from one manufacturer. It gives you infinite possibilities and infinite looks, which as a filmmaker is really important to me, because I want to have the exact look at the right moment for the right scene. I want to have the ability to use any one of 1,000 lenses. Until now, you never had that ability with a $3,000 camera or an affordable camera that somebody could, anybody could buy. There's a few different features on the Sony cameras that you can use to help make sure your focus is sharp, right? We've got focus peaking, which will in camera change the in focus section of your image to whatever color you choose. I usually keep mine on red, but you can do white or yellow. When the part of the person or scene is in focus, it will turn the color that you set it to. So that's very helpful. The Sony cameras will also allow you to zoom in up to 8 times to see if an eye is in focus, or if an eyelash is in focus, for that matter. It's pretty amazing. So you can make sure that with shallow depth of field images that you can really see what you're doing. One of the other things I really like about the Sony cameras is the ability to use autofocus when you're shooting video. This didn't really used to be something that existed. With SLRs, the focus would be really bad. The autofocus would be really bad. But with these new Sony cameras, you can actually track subjects. It's amazing. You can lock onto a subject and track them while you're shooting. So what I'll do is when I'm a one-man band and I'm shooting, say, an interview and I've got 2 or 3 cameras set up, I'll monitor one of those cameras, but then I'll lock focus in with the other 2 and let them follow my subject, and it works great. So whenever I'm shooting in 4K, actually whenever I'm shooting video at all, my settings are 24 frames a second, which is 24p. I'm shooting at a 50th of a second shutter speed, and I'm always shooting in S-Log. So if it's on an A7S2, I'm shooting an S-Log 3, and if it's in an A7R2, I'm shooting an S-Log 2. I generally turn off just about everything else. Any dynamic range settings, any color settings that aren't S-Log go right out the window. If I'm on a tripod, I turn off my internal stabilization, but if I'm hand-holding, I'll leave the stabilization on because it's incredible. Shots that I could never have handheld, 2 years ago, now I can do it with the internal stabilization. In this video, we learned about my camera and lens choices,